Hey guys, welcome to Hex and Chill. This is Kay, Shay, and Lou, and today we are going to be talking about 4 locations that we plan on visiting that are haunted. Ooh. Lou, that was a much better ghost this time.
Thank you. I was trying not to make it as depressing.
Yeah, that was a good, less depressing ghost. All right, guys, so we are going to talk about 4 locations. Like I said, one we are actually already planning on going to, which is the Thomas House, which Shay's going to cover tonight. And we're really excited about that.
Ugh.
It's also going to be fun because Kay and Shay are going to that one and Kat and I are not going to that one. So I'm excited to hear y'all's experience. I'm just so excited. It's going to be great.
Yes, yes.
We're going to need to record a lot.
I know. I'm excited.
So that I can remember things.
Yeah.
Because my memory is shot.
And then I'm going to be talking about the Belle Meade Plantation. All of our locations are in Nashville or around the area in Tennessee. Kat, who's going to be joining us later, is going to do the Belle Witch Cave, which is really exciting. And Lou,
I am doing Carnton Plantation,
which I know nothing about.
Yeah, I'm actually really, really excited, and I'll share why in a little bit.
So let's dive in. I think, do you want to start off, Shay, about the Thomas House?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we get started, make sure you've got your sacred circle set up. You don't want any... Whoa.
Someone
God
just
bless
texted me.
America.
Bling! Okay.
You don't want any unnatural energies coming out of the podcast and infiltrating your ears. What the heck?
But do not disturb them.
Okay.
Open that circle up. With that said, let's get...
Wait, no, she's coughing. Okay.
With that said...
Sorry. And with that.
And with that, let's get started. Spooky time. Ghost stories. All right. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
It's not Russell.
I'm so guarded right now.
It's just Lou in the corner going,
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
oh gosh. All right, tell us about the Thomas House. I'm excited.
All right, so we're going to be talking about the Thomas House Hotel. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the very humble beginnings of the Thomas House. Now, this is nestled in the serene town of Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee.
What a name.
Tennessee name. The Tennesseans here are not very good at naming things because the reason that this town is called Red Boiling Springs is because, well, there are natural springs and they are boiling hot, I guess. They're not red though, so I don't know where red came from. So this is a hotel that stands as a testament to a bygone era and a beacon for those intrigued by the paranormal. Now, there has been all sorts of different ebbs and flows of history, from the opulence of the mineral springs boom to tales of spectral encounters that continue to captivate visitors. The story begins in 1890 when brothers William Clay, Zachariah Wheat, and Thomas Tyler Cloyd, local hardware store owners, constructed the original hotel to accommodate the influx of visitors drawn by the reputed healing properties of the town's mineral springs. Unfortunately, tragedy struck in 1924 when a fire razed the original structure. Undeterred, though, the Cloyd family rebuilt the hotel in 1927, this time opting for a sturdy red brick design that boasted over 50 rooms and 2 communal bathrooms. Over the decades, the hotel underwent several transformations, operating under various names such as the Cloyd Place Hotel and Hotel Cloyd. It served diverse roles, including a boys' summer camp and, intriguingly, a residence for a cult at one point. Allegedly. In 1993, the Cole family acquired the property, restoring and reopening it as the Thomas House Hotel, preserving its historical essence while embracing its haunted reputation.
And that's where it is today,
Yes.
right? Still operation.
So it is still currently a hotel.
Crazy.
Yep. And they actually have a group that comes in and hosts ghost hunts ghost hunt nights at least 2 times, or I guess really 4 times a month. So it'll be 2 weekends out of the whole month. And guess who's doing that?
Me.
And me.
Woohoo! And our husbands.
Yes, exactly. To protect
roped
us.
them in.
I think
Yes.
we can call them your camera crew. Let's just be
True.
real here.
The camera crew and the editors. will be
Mine
there.
is the camera guy. Yours is the boom mic.
Great. Perfect.
He's so short that would totally not work.
I love that.
How
Right.
dare you,
You
talk
can't
about
extend it.
boom operators and their heights. That's so rude.
You're right. I'm sorry. To anyone who out there that is a short boom operator, my deepest apologies.
We see you and you are valued.
Kay is a fellow short person.
yeah,
so
I can
it
make
was
this.
No
I'm
harm
5 foot,
meant.
guys. There's nothing
No
to
harm
me.
meant.
People
More
be
like
like,
4'11" and 3/4.
no, I am exactly 5 foot. They told me.
All right, so are you guys ready to talk about paranormal sightings
The
at the Thomas House
spookies?
Hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, maybe I'm not because I'm staying there and now I'm a little scared.
Well,
Why are you scared?
I'm not scared. You're right. I'm scared.
all right, so here's a couple of things. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the paranormal legacy. So things that people report seeing or experiencing. So there's actually been national attention for its paranormal activity. I believe it was featured on an episode of Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it was season 9 or season 8 or something like that. I saw.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch that before we...
Right.
I know. I want to watch all of them.
Yeah.
Also, I hope you know you're going to be FaceTiming me
Oh, yeah.
the entire time. I'm just kidding.
All right,
Half
so
of the time.
some apparitions have definitely been reported. So shadowy figures, full-bodied apparitions. All of these are often believed to be like former guests and staff. Okay. There's also disembodied voices, which is not fun.
No.
Because haven't you been hearing things?
Yeah.
Great. So you're going to be really open to that.
Great.
So unexplained whispers and conversations echoing through empty corridors. And also physical sensations. So sudden cold spots, feelings of being touched, and an overwhelming sense of unease in certain areas. Also, feeling like you're being watched.
Yeah. Well, especially, I think I read something about room 37.
Yes.
Right,
So
doesn't-
room 37. I'm actually going to dive into that
Ooh,
right
okay.
now.
Because I heard that's like a really hot spot.
So, one of the most frequently reported spirits is that of a young girl believed to be Sarah Cloyd, the daughter of one of the original owners. Room 37 is particularly notorious, with guests reporting heightened paranormal activity, including objects moving on their own and intense feelings of dread. And guess what room we're staying in?
Not 37.
Not 37, but we are staying in
35.
35.
She must be close.
Hopefully we'll get a little glimpse of Sarah Cloyd.
When I looked up about 35, it was just like the same kind of like feeling touched and like disembodied voices too in that room. So
Well,
I feel like everything has a little,
has a little something going.
something.
Yeah.
it looks really creepy too. Like when you look at the photos of the Thomas house, which you guys should go do. They kind of did what the place we stayed in Salem, the Daniel's Inn did, where you bring a lot of old
Oh no.
old stuff.
If there's a Dinah in there, I'm going to
gosh.
chuck it out the window.
What if there is? What if all the locations we go, do we find one?
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
That's when I'll know that like it's cursed. Like that whole,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it has a bunch of like antiques and stuff like that, like old clothes, old furniture.
kind of outfit it. I think the cool thing about the Thomas house is it's not as old as the Daniel's house, because the Daniel's house was built in 1600s, whereas this was built in 1890. So it's
I think a lot of
still-
locations in Tennessee are more 1800s.
Yeah.
because Tennessee, obviously,
we're a little more. Well, all of the like built structures are definitely newer because we hadn't come to this part of the
yeah,
world yet. Well, we had, but hadn't really
yeah.
settled.
They settled more in Massachusetts. Like that's like an early settlement, so that's
Right.
why it's. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff we've researched, I think plantations, all of that is a lot in the 1800s, and that's what Tennessee's known for.
So one of the hot spots, a place that we might want to make sure that we check out while we're there, is there's actually the pool There was a drowning in 1961 when a 7-year-old boy named Edwin Rush lost his life. He drowned. Over the years, numerous sightings of the boy's ghost have been reported around the pool area and within the hotel itself. So we'll have to make sure that we look out for Edwin Rush. Now, modern day hauntings. Today, Thomas House, it continues to operate. It offers guests a unique blend of historical charm and eerie encounters. It has also been featured on several paranormal television programs, like I said, Ghost Hunters, and also Paranormal State. I used to love that show. Now I want to try to find that episode.
Watch them all.
So, and it solidifies its status as one of the most haunted locations in the entire U.S.
I feel like every place says that, guys.
Well,
I know.
But that is cool. I think it is a very haunted spot. I've heard people talk about it before.
Well, so the other reason I really wanted to go to this location is because I have a friend who also has a friend. And I was talking to that friend. And they were telling me that they've actually been to the Thomas House Hotel multiple times. And they had physical evidence that they showed me on their phone of this shadow figure.
Right.
And how it, in one photo, it was in one position, and the next photo, it was in a completely different position. And it was terrifying. And so, I don't know, but she says she's been multiple times, and every time she goes, she experiences something. So, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about this too because it's not the other ones I'm excited about this one to start off our journey because the other 3 we're doing are just going to be like we pay to go visit it, right? It's just a tour, or maybe not with Luz. I don't know for sure. But this one is like the first time I've ever stayed in a place where I'll be like investigating during the night.
Right.
Like I've gone, the only other thing I did was in Savannah. I did a like 2-hour thing, which was super fun, and with a ghost hunting thing. So I've had a little bit of experience, but not like overnight, like doing it. And I'm just really excited.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how they like run this tour. So like the way that the Thomas House, they have this specific company that comes in and hosts a ghost tour. And they provide you with equipment. They provide you with snacks. And I'm assuming they're talking I'm assuming they talk to you a little bit about each of the stories and like big mysteries of the house as well.
Yeah.
So I think this will be really cool. And we won't be the only ones that are on this tour. It'll be us and then whoever else is staying that weekend. So
let's make
friends.
That night.
So
like the other locations are gonna be like, our little device in our pockets that's talking to us while we're getting a tour of the house. It's gonna be like, run, and we're gonna be like, oh shit.
Right, exactly. But I think that's also what's really cool about this is like this is going to be really encouraged, whereas like all the other times we've gone ghost hunting, like it's been really not encouraged.
Yeah.
And so I think that'll bring a different energy, which maybe is why there's so much activity.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I'm excited for the Thomas House.
I'm so pumped.
I'm so pumped. We're going in 2 weeks.
Sad you're not coming.
I know.
I am.
But I really am.
You are coming?
Well, no, I'm sad that I'm not coming.
You said, I'm really sad you're not coming. I am.
Well, I told Kate, I was like, what time is the ghost part? Like,
It's just
maybe
gonna
I'll
show up.
like show up and just be like, hey. But it's probably gonna be at like 3:00 in the morning, and then
Wait, like look at the people. We're like, hey, by the way, we're just gonna have this friend come join us who's
They're
not paying.
an apparition. They're part of the tour.
Yeah, she's a Coven member.
She's our emotional support human, and we need her here.
Anyways, okay, next to my location, I'm excited to talk about. It is the Belle Meade Plantation. Now, this is a really popular plantation in Nashville specifically. A lot of the other plantations are kind of further out and more in the country, but this one's like in Nashville. It's like super close to downtown. Well, not super close, but closer than other plantations. And it was most well known for racing horses. So if you guys like the Kentucky Derby, which I nannied for a family that loved the Kentucky Derby, they went every year. A lot of the winners of the Kentucky Derbies were like bred by the Belle Meade, or like their mother was like there and she gave birth to the winners. Anyways, So it's like a super famous place for the Kentucky Derby, which I think is really cool. And when you're there, I've been once in the daytime with my husband about 5 years ago. Are you letting her out?
Her little floofy tail.
Floof, 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 floof. About 5 years ago, me and my husband did a tour of the Belle Meade Plantation because the kids I nannied did summer camps there and they liked it, like I said, for the horses. And I dropped off one of the kids several times to camp and I was like, I really want to like go see this place. It's beautiful. Like it's so freaking cool. And so we did. And it was like a date and the plantation is beautiful, which I hate. I don't know why I hate that plantations are so beautiful.
Because there was so much nastiness that
I
happened.
know.
At them.
Yeah. And it just, you like walk on, you're like, wow. And then you're like, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know exactly what you mean.
So it is beautiful. It is like Greek architects, and they've also have a great museum for the enslaved. It's called the Time of Jubilee, I'm pretty sure. And it's a tour that they have made for the slaves, and it's all their quarters and different things. And it shows like, when I went, it had like videos showing of different things and pictures and what their living quarters looked like and what they would actually have living in the slave quarters. And so it was a humbling step. Stepping into those places always is, you're like, I don't know what to do. Do I say sorry?
Yeah.
I am, but what do I do here? Like, I just
Right.
feel awkward. So we will see those, which will be fun because I think you guys will also feel that and like to see that. Though it's
Yeah.
it's a good reminder.
Well, it's
We need it.
It's heavy, and I think the best thing we can do is remember. And I mean, especially like what we did when we were in Salem, just remembering the women and the men. And I think that's
Yeah.
I also think too, while really awful things took place on plantations and people were treated poorly, I do also think that they don't have to always just be remembered as like awful places because enslaved people did choose happiness. And I think that there were moments of fun and joy. That does not excuse what happened on plantations. But I also like think too, like, I don't like thinking of plantations as like a place where spirits are trapped.
And I think we've talked about this before. We did.
Yeah, we sure did.
It's not that negative. It's like they're not this evil spirit because they're angry. It's more like it's just a remembrance of the trauma that happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also think that if you're going to go into a plantation and be disrespectful or whatever, those spirits might turn more angry and hateful, right? But
if you go in and you're like, you deserve this.
It's inherently
I'll slap you in the face. I'm going to slap you right there in the face. When I also believe that, and I also think spirits can choose that. I just don't think it's there because they were slaves.
Correct.
Like whatever spirit is there. And I also think that heaviness you feel is there because of the trauma.
Absolutely.
Like when I walked into that place, wasn't because I believe in ghosts since I was a kid, but I wasn't like truly on my journey back at this time. So it was more like I always just sense things from the get-go. And so when I walked into those places, it was that just heaviness like we've talked about. And then inside the mansion, that's when I was like, there's things here.
Interesting.
And when I was there, they have different seasons of the decor inside. And this one was what it would look like during a mourning of a dead person, of a dead relative. So it was like in this time period, I think it was like 6 months or something like that you had to wear mourning clothes.
Yep.
And like had the cover, and they had like a casket in the middle of where like the person would have like their funeral. So it was like a really weird.
What time of year did you go?
It was during the summer. It was during the summer. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll walk onto this. So like upstairs, it was like what someone would look like if they were diseased. And I mean, it was pretty like a dark tour. And my tour guide was like, oh yeah, this place is haunted. And I was like, cool. I was sensing that. She was like, it was cool. Cause she was like, cause I like kind of pulled her to the side and I was like, do you see any ghost? You know, I hate asking that question. You're like, do you like ghost? What?
Jizz.
Just.
Not trying to make anybody's, not trying to be funny, not trying to make anyone have the worst day at their job, but do any of these effers come out of the walls and have a giant effing cum shot?
Oh my gosh, stop it. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. I was like, what is happening? Anyways, like always, I like to pull the people aside that I go into places that I'm like, we're not on a ghost tour, but I want to ask about ghost. Can I? Like whenever I go to a haunted, like Savannah, I'd be like, hey, I know we're eating at this restaurant, but is there a ghost in here? And they'd be like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Like they're like, yeah, I've worked here for like 2 weeks and I've already seen something. And I was like, cool. Okay, cool. I just want to know. Thank you. And then they get the salad and walk away.
Part of me is like, do they just say that just to like
actually
try to get a reaction?
I don't know. It's like their faces sometimes are like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know?
Interesting.
I always make my husband actually ask because he's like, he's really, I'm like, hee hee hee. And he's like really blunt, which is awesome.
Ask him the question.
So anyways, a little history about Belle Meade, just for if you're curious about the history. It was like founded, it started to get built in 1807 by John Harding. And Harding is a big name in Nashville. People know if they live here. And so he built this place and it started as a farm and then slowly began to grow, becoming breeding for the thoroughbred racehorses. And it was like it's a very, very big plantation.
Give me some of that.
I know. And it was passed down from the father to the son and then to the daughter's husband. So it was passed down three generations in that family, and they all did the racing horses. Something that's sad about the plantation is that it did have over 136 enslaved individuals. So it was they did build it. They built the plantation and then worked the plantation. When they were emancipated, I think 36 of them chose to stay on with wages because that's what you could have done. Some left for freedom, some stayed but were paid and things were different. I don't know who was at this time owning it. I would like to look more into the details, but they got pretty good wages. And one of the most famous, I don't know if he's the most famous in America, but he's really well known. His name is Bob and he was an African-American, and he, from childhood, the guy taught him how to breed the horses. Like he was his apprentice, basically. Like a little enslaved boy was the guy's apprentice, but did it so well, knew it so well that when he died, he basically took it over. And he was like really well paid. And he's one of the spirits you can see. He's riding on his horse. Sometimes you'll see a black man riding on a horse, and that's Bob. Because he's like, it's always a light, loving thing. Like he was happy and choose to do what he loved, which was be with horses, right? So that's really cool. And they also went through the Civil War, obviously, and with emancipation and all that stuff. So there's war stuff there. There's bullets in certain places. You know, it was every place in Tennessee has that.
Yeah.
The Battle of Nashville was like really big. Battle of Franklin. There's a lot of places here that Civil War were. They're popping. Yeah. So if you grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, you're like, oh yeah, we know about the Civil War. There's like places everywhere.
We went on a field trip to Belle Meade.
Yeah.
I did that when I was in school.
You've been?
Oh yeah, I've been to all of these places.
Oh yeah.
Minus the Thomas Hotel. But like all of the plantations in Nashville, I have been to all of those because of my school.
Nice. That's cool. So
it's,
you will appreciate it more this time.
Yes.
That's the fun thing.
Yes,
now you're an adult and you're choosing.
When you're, especially school in Tennessee at my age, it was like
whatever. You probably saw something.
Well, I know, but saying like glorified.
I know.
Civil War.
Yes.
Rhetoric, and it's just like gross. So I'm excited to go now, and then to feel like, oh, I remember. Maybe I'll remember seeing stuff.
Yeah, because we did an unblocking of her third eye for the world beyond the veil. We did this ritual for her, and so we're excited to see if she starts seeing stuff now that she's choosing to
embrace it.
All right, do you guys want to know about the haunts other than Bob?
Always.
Yes.
So there is this nursery room in 1984. The security alarms in the nursery went off every night at nearly the same time between 3:40 and 3:47 a.m. for 5 consistent nights. So they believed that So there's no presence, no windows open, nothing to trip the sensors. And they believe that I was probably the General Harding who owned it, checking on his children or checking on like other things. So he just like walks in and shuts the door, but he sets off an alarm when he does that. And so it's this like thing that happened 5 nights in a row. You know, you could chalk it up to maybe faulty security and they fixed it. And then that's why it went away. But that is one of the claims, which I think is cool because he's one of the ghosts you see is Mr. Harding. But then there is a little girl who lives in the dining room, and visitors claim to see a brunette girl in a dress and assume she's a part of the staff or she's like part of the like actors that come on, but she vanishes in front of them every time. So they see her and then she vanishes. So I'm curious, like, do they turn away and come back and she's vanished, or does she like straight up just like evaporate into the universe?
That'd be crazy.
Right? Because that one would be a little like, you know, you turn your head and look back and no one's there. You're like, they could have run.
I can explain this away.
Yeah, dude, they just ran really fast away in this open field. It's fine. But someone disappears in front of you. That's like, what the?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, she is there, and there are also other reports of children laughing and footsteps all throughout the house. So children are a big thing in this house, which I like because, I don't know, children's spirits are... I like children's spirits because they are usually an evil presence or a positive presence in a lot of places. Like the little girl is usually the devil actually just pretending to be a little girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Children's spirits can be really scary because some people are like, no, they're just pretending to be a girl and actually a darker spirit.
Yeah.
Like Sally. There's like a bunch of girls that, you know, it's always that little girl. Like every haunted place has a little girl.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm curious to see what this little girl feels like. Okay, so the other thing is there's a lot of like poltergeist activity. Examples are candles light themselves. Beds are like disturbed even though the doors are locked. Like people come in and the beds are like all messed up, which is really creepy. There's cold spots and shadow figures like in every haunted place as well. And staff and guests often feel like they're being watched or but they're being touched. And I definitely felt that in the house.
Really?
Oh yeah. I felt like constantly someone was watching me, but that's how I see spirits. Like I've never actually seen a spirit. I'm always just like, they're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I see that. Or like auras.
that.
I don't see the auras. I'm just like, oh, you're this color. But I don't like, oh, it's on just purple above her head. Like that's not what I
Yeah.
see, which I know some people do, but so anyways, I'm excited to go back and see if I see anything. Maybe I will. But yes, so Belle Meade Plantation, super exciting. A lot of Nashville history, which we have. That's what we're diving into, obviously, as you can tell. We're going to places that are home because our current home, and because there's places, especially in the South, and it's sometimes more dark in the South.
I also think too, like none of us were born here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like history that
Yeah.
we don't know about. I mean, and granted, a lot of this is likely not going to be taught in the
Correct.
school system, but
verify.
I do think that like it's authentic to where we are, and I want to learn about that sort of history, right? Like, and perhaps kids do learn about the Belle Meade Plantation.
Yeah, I mean they do like they do a Native American camp there, I'm pretty sure too. So they like drawn to the history of like what was before that.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it's also a cool location if you're not into the ghosties and you just want to go chill at somewhere. It's a very big tourist trap, which also is kind of because it's a plantation, but whatever. Because they have a big winery there now. So it's now a winery. And so you do the tour, which we'll do. And afterwards you have a wine tasting, just as part of the tour. And their wine is like super sweet. It's got this very like Tennessee. There's like whiskey you can try that's like 16 years old, you know, stuff like that. So it's just a very like, oh, we're going to Nashville. We're going to go see a plantation to drink wine, you know, brides. I bet you when we go on a tour, there's
going to be a bridal party,
$100
bachelorette party. Yep, absolutely,
absolutely.
Perhaps or someone even who's like bachelor party,
cute in their cowboy hats on vacation.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah,
you know, if you know, you know. If you're downtown Nashville in a cowboy hat, you probably weren't born in Tennessee. Now there are Southerners. We have a friend that wears a cowboy hat all the time. He loves it, and that's your thing. But if you see like a whole group of women in cowboy hats, they are not from Nashville. They are not from Tennessee.
They are tourists.
They are tourists. And cowboy boots, like the Daisy Duke cowboy boots. That's just that is a Southern thing, but it's not
really a Nashville thing.
not a Nashville thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's a stereotypical thing.
All right, Lubu.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
very excited.
Hello, Kat has entered. All right, just so our listeners know, Kat just entered the room. She doesn't have a mic yet. She's going to be handed one when she tells hers next. But we're going to jump into Lou's location. Please tell us of the spooky wookies.
All right, y'all, buckle up. So I am going to be covering Carnton House in Franklin, Tennessee, and it's one of the most haunted homes in the state. And surprise, I may have some ancestral blood ties there.
It's not surprising. You're really rich in Tennessee's history.
Okay.
Lou's family is like, oh, you're part of that family.
I
They
know.
weren't the Vanderbilts, not the Belmonts, but
Yes.
they were in those.
McGavick's.
They're in that. It was like those, right?
Yeah, like McGavick's.
Sorry.
I got it.
She's got it. She got it.
So I'm trying to remember. I feel like I have been to Carnton House, but it would have been years and years and years and years ago. I think I would have gone on a field trip, so I don't really remember. So I'm going to be treating it like it's a fresh start, unless we get there and it's like, holy shit, I've been here before and I've seen
unlocked
some
a-
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, you're the ghost that's been following me. Gotcha.
Got it. Nice to see you again. No. So historical bones we've got. So it was built in 1826 by Randall McGavick, and it was a Greek revival plantation home in Franklin. So again, just like Belle Meade, very ornate Greek. All of it. It's definitely not as big as Belle Meade. but
Nashville's also a Greek thing. We have the Parthenon.
yeah, it's really weird.
We have a lot of Greek vibes.
Inspiration.
Inspo.
yeah. Really weird. Okay, so during the
We
Battle
are
of
the
Franklin,
Athens of the South.
we
That is
are-
true.
Why are we the Athens of the South?
Because
We're literally nicknamed that because of the redoing of the Parthenon.
Parthenon. We have the Parthenon totally recreated. It's beautiful. It's amazing to go look at.
It's very
because you're like, oh, this is a copy of something that's in Rome, which makes it.
Yeah.
But
Greece.
No, Greece. Sorry, Greece.
And so for our listeners, I was not born in Nashville, but I moved here when I was 10. And so I went to school here. In 5th grade, we went to the Parthenon and we had the Olympics as a 5th grade class.
How
Fun fact.
freaking cute.
It was very cute.
Did you win?
I don't remember. I was awkward.
And you didn't win.
I was awkward in 5th grade.
You would have remembered if you got the gold.
My mom told me I was a winner. Okay.
No, she didn't.
Okay, back to
Sorry.
Carnton. So, built in 1826 by Randall McGavick, and again, Greek revival in Franklin, Tennessee. During the Battle of Franklin in the Civil War, it transformed into a field hospital, and a gruesome one at that. Over 9,500 casualties in a 5-hour battle. Carnton's back porch was used for surgeries, and the floors are still stained with blood. So it's very, very heavy, traumatic.
Yeah. That land's got law. That's a trauma.
Yes. And that's just from the Civil War. If we trace it back even further, we're thinking like all of the enslaved people that have been there, the Native Americans. It's got a lot of stuff.
I think about battles too, like why everyone knows that battlegrounds feel weird. And I do think about just like all of that blood soaking into the ground.
Absolutely.
All of that fear. I mean, it's interesting because everyone that has been on battlegrounds are like,
Yeah. It's like,
Gettysburg is like,
it's scarred. Yeah.
so haunted.
Ugh.
So.
So the floors are still stained with blood. The McGavicks buried 1,500 soldiers in a private cemetery on their property. Carrie McGavick, Randall's daughter-in-law, personally tended to and documented them, becoming known as the Widow of the South. And she is one of the hauntings that you can sometimes see there. Other historical drama and other haunting things that can happen. So the enslaved people worked and died here. Their names, voices, and pain are mostly undocumented, but the house remembers. So just going I think that's with all of the things that we're visiting. There's what's known that happened there, and then there's also all of the undocumented things that we don't see or hear, but the house remembers and the land remembers.
Yeah.
So, yes. You guys ready to hear about the hauntings?
Yes.
Okay. Hot ghost gossip includes soldiers pacing the grounds, especially near the back porch and in the cemetery.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Apparition seen walking the staircase, peeking out of upstairs windows,
I hate
and
when they peek.
sometimes just staring.
I hate when they peek.
I hate when they stare.
That's the most scary when you
I
see little
know.
eyeballs. And you're like, no, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see that.
You know what I really hate? When a ghost pops out of the fucking car and scares you to death.
That didn't happen to you. That happened to Nell on Haunting of Hill House.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
I
calm down.
felt like I was there. As I said just a second ago, Karen McGavick has been spotted tending graves or pacing through the house as if she never left. There's also the weird phenomenons that we've been hearing: sudden temperature drops, feelings of being watched, lights flickering, disembodied voices, footsteps, and sobbing.
Oh.
One of the creepiest confirmed stories, a guest staying overnight for an event woke to find a man in a Confederate uniform standing by the bed. When she blinked, he was gone, but the room still smelled like smoke and blood.
Whoa.
So I was talking to Gus about this stuff, and he had a theory, and it says these aren't just ghosts, they're imprints, like the house keeps replaying the worst night of its life.
Yeah, that
And
happens
I really
a lot.
I really like that. We talk about echoes a lot, and I like replaying. I like the idea of replaying, but I also hate the idea of them being stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
But we can dive into that.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's just the echo. Sometimes I feel like maybe it's not them though.
Right. It's purely just that energy and that echo. So it's not
residual energy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully they're at peace. But
right. Because that's honestly my biggest problem with it
Yeah.
is I just don't want a soul to be stuck in an endless loop of grief and anger or rage or whatever. But if it's purely
also-
just
yeah, I was going to say like what we said before about ghosts, about how, if you have several lives, like what is that? It's just the echo. But what if sometimes souls are like, I want to be stuck here for a while,
yeah.
right? Like what if it is an actual person, right, that lives there? And ghosts are just those moments when you're like, your soul's like, I know I need to stay here a little bit more. And then they leave, because ghosts do leave. Some do. And time is like, doesn't make sense. So if they feel like they're here for thousands and thousands of years, doesn't mean they're, you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah. Time is different.
time is weird. So, but that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I was thinking about, I wanted to do the Sassenbach Tunnel originally, which I still want to look into that, but it's not necessarily, it's more of like an urban legend myth type thing.
Like Nessie.
Like Nessie. And
She's been seen though.
people have seen things in this tunnel. But then I was looking up other places in Nashville, and Kay mentioned she was doing Belle Meade, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I have family that's tied to one of these. And so then I went down the rabbit hole of going on Ancestry.com and finding exactly where I'm related. And it was super fun, super cool. Found out where I got my name from and just very cool things.
Lou, you know what's something interesting? When you step onto this land, your ancestors were the people that had slaves.
Yep.
Like for us, it's like, we're white. We probably have some ancestors that had slaves. But yours are like,
we can't like physically tie anything to
right.
that, you
It's
know?
not like you're stepping and you're like I'm stepping in a house where my great grandfather had slaves. I'm curious.
It's heavy.
That's heavy.
Yeah,
I
so
want to know how
that's
it's going to
why
hit you.
Well, I'm very excited to be able to step into that, and because I mean we've got ancestral grief there, we've got the unhealed trauma, the land trauma. Like there's.
I wonder if it'll
so
show up
much.
more for you because it recognizes your bloodline. You know what I mean? Like it's like, hello.
I know. So.
Ooh. Can we do an overnight there? Have you looked
I
into
don't
it?
know. I want to look deeper into it, especially when I
Just
talk
call your
to my
grandfather.
aunt. Yeah, well, I want to talk to my aunt and be like, because it's not my grandfather, it's my grandmother's side.
Ooh. Oh, because you. Oh, right. You have two famous families. Don't you have two
Hello.
famous family names?
Yeah. Well, it was a very big, like it was a very
Family.
Yeah.
What? Stop.
A ghost in the window over there again.
No, it's just
We
my
hate it.
neighbor.
Why are they flashing the lights like that?
Stop it. You always see it.
Yeah.
So that's Lou's location. We're going to go there. We're going to spend the night.
I like this lingering question. Are you ready? If your ancestors are calling you to a haunted house, is it for closure or a reunion?
Is it, ancestors, hear my prayers? All right, Kat is going to tell us our last location, which is the Belle Witch Cave, right?
It is. Hey, witches. Kat here. Today I'm diving into one of the most iconic hauntings in American folklore, the Belle Witch of Tennessee. When I first started researching the story, I got that weird, tight feeling in my chest, like someone was watching me from a corner of a room. Not in a malicious way exactly, but definitely not a friendly either. Like the spirit that doesn't mind bending the rules to get your attention. And trust me, the Belle Witch loves attention.
Yeah, she's greedy.
All right, let's rewind to the early 1800s. Adams, Tennessee, a small town with sprawling farmland and not a whole lot else. The Bell family moved there around 1804. John Bell, his wife Lucy, and their kids were settling into what they hoped would be a peaceful life. But by 1817, that peace was shattered. It started small, scratching sounds behind the walls, knocking, chains dragging, classic haunted house starter pack.
Chains.
Chains.
Dang. That's a real boogie boogie,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. We're not going.
But it escalated fast.
God, worse.
The entity got vocal, screaming through the night. It physically attacked the youngest daughter, Betsy Bell, slapping her, pulling her hair, even leaving handprints and welts.
Damn.
And then it set its sights on John Bell.
Lou's staring at me like so creepy right now. I was so scared. Did you wait?
I'm just gardening.
Oh my God, dear
We're
God.
not gardening. I'm gardened.
She was staring into my soul. Guys, side note yesterday, my husband scratched his eyeball. So we went to the clinic to get it looked at and they put dye in it and then they use this light. And he was like, oh, there's the scratch. So I bend over to look. You know, in movies when the person's eye is gray and they're dead, it's that zombie blue-eyed.
Yeah.
You know exactly. That's what his eye looks like. And I was like, oh my gosh, it kind of looks like he's dead. And Jim was like, I cannot believe you said that in front of the doctor. And I was like, sorry.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Anyways, I'm thinking of this now, like a crazy.
Yes.
Okay, this is scary.
Yeah. So over several years, he suffered mysterious illnesses that only worsened. In 1820, he died after allegedly being poisoned by the witch herself. Wow. She even took credit for it, boasting about it to the family. Local legend says that she was the spirit of a woman named Katie Batts, a neighbor who had bad blood with the Bells over a land dispute. But honestly, this thing doesn't behave like your average vengeful ghost. We're talking about an entity that could talk, mimic voices, appear in multiple places, and then vanish into thin air.
So is it the house or is it the cave?
So it's both.
Do you see both?
Yeah, so she haunted them in the house, but if you go in the cave, a lot of people have sensed malicious presence there.
Ooh.
So it's kind of the whole property and land. So Bell land, but
Okay.
and actually, President Andrew Jackson even tried to visit the property. He bailed after one night, supposedly saying, "I'd rather fight the British again than deal with the Bell Witch."
Wow.
So the story has so many layers: family trauma, land curses, Southern folklore, and maybe even something more ancient.
I'm scared of caves and evil things.
It will be creepy.
We're going to go in there. Have you guys, there's this one movie where the demon lady gets to the cave and then she eats the child. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like the haunting of, or it's like Annabelle, not Annabelle. It's an old lady. Have you seen that movie? The old lady gets in the cave and she's like, okay.
I'm
That movie scarred me for life. So that's what I think about
There's a lot
with
of scary
caves.
movies that have scarred you for life.
You're right. The ring. The wing. The wing.
I kind of want to rewatch that movie.
No, I will not watch it with you.
For our next episode, we will be doing a movie review on The Ring.
I'm just weeping in the corner. Where's Kate? Oh, she's over there. She's fine.
crying.
I want to watch it, guys. Oh my gosh. I have rewatched it as an adult. And
I haven't.
oh God. And The Grudge. Those two.
I don't think I've ever actually seen The Grudge.
The Grudge is
I just
addicts.
know about it.
No, ever again.
That's The Grudge, right?
Yeah.
That noise.
The one I hate the most from The Grudge is that the little boy meows. So you think it's a cat. So whenever my cats are meowing downstairs, I'm like, oh my God, it's The Grudge boy. And then I'm like, scary. And then my cat comes around the corner with a toy in her mouth. I'm just like, hey, it's me. I'm like, thank God. But yeah, I've heard about the Belle Meade because a lot of people have visited. It's like Tennessee's probably biggest.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah,
like the biggest
it's
one.
people-
Most known.
No other places. Other places are super haunted, but like I feel like that one's even bigger than Andrew Jackson's house,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
The Hermitage is another big one, but like I don't know, when people are like, "Oh, Tennessee," you're like
Bellwitch.
Bellwitch. Yeah. So
And like there's most ghost hunters have gone there.
yes, we have to watch all of them.
Yeah.
Clips.
I'm excited.
And we have to look too because I remember us trying to go one time and it was closed. Like it has seasons that it's open.
Yeah, so it's only open in the summer
Oh my gosh, we have to
on
go
weekends. So it's very like limited.
Ooh. Okay, well,
Can you stay there?
Oh, I don't know. I know they do tours and like hey, they get really ghosty with it in October. But yeah, I know they do tours and stuff, but I'm not sure if you can stay the night.
well, our 4 locations that we're going to are the Thomas House, spooky, spooky, spooky. The Belle Meade Plantation,
Spooky, spooky, spooky.
the
Carnton Plantation.
Carnton Plantation. I keep on thinking of a carton of milk. That's all I can think about.
Carton of eggs,
Carton,
a carton of milk.
yeah, carton,
Yeah, carton of milk.
plantation, like a carton, you know.
Sure.
The milk
The Bell Witch Cave. Spooky, 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 spooky. We are so excited for all these locations. And then we're going to do an episode about each of them with our experiences, our haunts, the things we caught on camera and by eye.
I am going
both
to
things.
research if there's like certain camera settings I can use on my because I am a professional photographer, but
Yeah.
I've never done ghost pictures. So
I know.
maybe we can get some.
It'd be interesting to see if they showed up. And
I also, like when an Ovilus, the one that's really expensive, like $400, but it's like the one that speaks the words, you know? It
Wait, what is it?
expensive. It's called the Ovilus.
What does it do?
So like you hold it and it has a word.
Ovulating.
It has a word database, and so it's like you hold it and they can pick from the words in the dictionary and
it's not
speak
a
to you.
It's not a camera. I thought it was a camera. I was like, that is not expensive for a camera.
No, it's just a little
Yeah.
word dictionary
Yes.
that ghosties can use.
Yes.
And they can be like, "What's up, bitches?" And you're like, "What's up?"
Hey yo.
I mean, it can. It chooses words.
Okay, hear me out. I wonder if male ghost hunters are more successful because male ghosts will talk to them. Whereas, like, we're women, and a lot of the older ghosts that in the time periods of like Bell Witch and all of that, like, I wonder if they wouldn't talk to us because they don't respect us because we're women.
That is true, but I do think a lot of times men get aggressively attacked by things, but women do too. But that's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like maybe they're mad when the women don't respond.
Yeah, because I mean, when there's also like
So your hair pulled.
female ghosts or whatever, and maybe they don't like men, and so it can go either
Yeah.
way. But
Or like, you know, the only time you get the attention of the ghost is when
Yeah.
you've irritated them. So
Yeah.
they like attack you
yeah,
as a woman.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I watch both and they have good success, but there are definitely
yeah.
big men. Zach Bagans.
Okay, so those are the 4 places that we're gonna go visit. And we're super pumped. We're gonna do our tarot poll real quick.
And then we're going to say goodnight.
Alrighty, Roo.
All right, I'm pulling from the regular deck. Ooh, it's an Aquarius. That's me. 5 of Swords reversed, and it is about past resignment, desire for reconciliation, making amends, desire for forgiveness. I feel like ghosts carry that a lot. That feeling of that sorrow.
Yeah. Also,
Interesting.
this card's so cool. So we pulled Dill.
Ooh,
Practical, eases urinary tract infections, good for digestive problems, helps with liver issues, can be used to fight bacteria. Magical, repels dark forces. Hello. Hang in children's room to protect from ill will. Hello.
you just got all these pickles.
Ready? Prevents nightmares and dispels jealousy.
So you tell me I just got to get my kids pickles each night?
No, you have to get them dill. So
Dill
you can get a
pickles.
dill pickle.
It has some dill in it.
A little bit of
No,
dill.
I actually love the smell of dill.
I also love dill.
All right, and for our mineralogy deck, we pulled calcite, which is, I mean, calcite can have any color, and I guess it actually really varies per color what chakra it controls. So, like, most pinks will do your heart chakra, blue, throat, so on and so forth. But calcite's metaphysical meanings usually rule over luck, money, problem resolution, gambling, healing, creativity, business success, and attracting love.
All right, witches, that's our tarot pool. We are so excited for this trip. Hopefully you guys are along with us on this journey to each location. And the light in me sees the light in you guys. Love ya.
Bye, witchlings.
And I love dill chips.
Oh my God, I really want dill chips.
Listen, Firehouse has dill spicy chips.
I know.
They're so
Let's go get them.
Knock, knock. Excuse me, I know it's 9 o'clock, but I need some dill spicy chips.
Some chips, please. What is that voice?
Please.
Bye.
Sorry, I'm so used to not talking when you guys are recording.
Are we recording?
We are recording.
Welcome.
Is that right?
Welcome to the Titty Show.
Welcome. I love saying the word titty. I don't know why it's
That's
a
your
new
new
development.
thing.
I think it's because of you.
Yeah,
also,
I'm sorry.
No, I love it. Okay, so Kat sent me this TikTok or reel or whatever, and it was about how people, when you hang out with people, you adopt their language, and sometimes it's annoying because you're like, oh, I just want to be individual and like I want to be who I am and not just be who my friend is or whatever. But it's actually our brain subconsciously. It's like a way of saying our bodies and like brain just being like, oh, I like this person, and so I want to match them. And so it's not you just copying them and not
Right.
having your own personality, but
It's like,
it's
I'm
it's really
vibing.
cute. It's just
I'm
really cute.
gelling. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, 100% every single time I go to the bathroom. I don't know. Have y'all ever seen that Vine? It's like, so there I am, barbecue sauce on my titties.
You showed us to us. Yeah.
Oh, I did. Anyway, that's literally all I keep thinking about.
So funny.
Every time I pee.
Okay.
Anyway,